Hello, I'm Diego Garcia with Tranquilo Music, and today we'll talk about music production and arranging. The song that we'll talk about today is called Como Te Quiero Yo a Ti by Selena Quintanilla, which is featured in her album Moonchild Mixes. Let's get started. Okay, so in regards of instruments in these arrangements, we have the bass, which is emulating the guitarrón or an acoustic bass. We have 3 guitar tracks. 2 of them are doubled, pan left and right, I believe. And a third one using a capo, another guitar track emulating the sound of a vihuela, since I don't have one. We have the cymbals, which help a lot with accents and build-ups and stuff like that. The Celeste, which is going to be doing a few melodies to fill out some spaces, and I believe also double some of the lines from the string section. Then the harp, also, it's kind of like the precursor of risers and stuff like that. It helps do build-ups and stuff like that in this arrangement. We have a string section, which is a little hard to explain here. I will have to make a individual video to explain how I work on string arrangement using virtual instruments. But basically, all these instruments are emulating what maybe a chamber string section would do. Let's say 16 violins, 3 cellos, and a double bass, or something like that. We also have. I also have the horns right here, which is, I believe, 2 horns. That way they can have that kind of slight chorusing effect of 2 instruments playing the same lines. Same with the trumpets, 2 trumpets to play mostly in unison and create that kind of like chorusy effect that I think works well for this arrangement. So I thought the idea of having like a mariachi based rhythm section going and then supported by orchestral instrument was going to work. Of course, it's not something that I know 100%. A lot of what I do is trial and error. But I started with the acoustic guitars, and I programmed the bass using a virtual instruments. I'll talk more about that later. And this gave me the foundation to start building the arrangement. The first thing you have to do, or I do, is listen to a lot of music and the style to get ideas, to get kind of the sound in your head, because I do not specialize in one particular style of music. I enjoy all kinds of music, and I enjoy the challenge of like understanding and learning from every kind of style of music. So I listened to their previous versions of Selena, of this song. For some reason, the vocal track that they sent me of Selena's vocals wasn't at 77 BPM, which I don't think it matches any of the 2 previously released songs. At the end, AV asked me to improve the tempo from 77 to 83, and that made a big difference. It was dragging a little bit originally. That's the great thing about working with virtual instruments, because then you can redo it, and it would be, I mean, you can manipulate audio nowadays really well, but it will start, degrading the quality. So let me show you a little bit of what I did. Since I don't have a vihuela, I have to use I just put a capo in my guitar to create like a higher pitch, higher range played guitar. So let's listen to the bass and the acoustic guitars. Okay, so that gave me the foundation to start building the arrangement. Once I have the form, the basic rhythm going, I can start building it. And now I might make some mistakes because I did this arrangement in 2019, so I'm trying to remember the way things worked out. But I think for the intro, for example, the next thing probably I worked on was like the main melody, which I believe is the Trumpets, which are also virtual instruments. Everything was done here in this computer using technology. So here we go. Guitars, bass, and trumpets. Okay, now strings are a little complicated because they have so many articulations, so you have to end up, again, since I'm using virtual instruments to program this, you have to use different instruments playing different articulations to come up with a complete arrangement. Or you can use key switches that are pretty much giving instructions to the computer or to the program, to the instrument, to switch between one articulation and the next one, or the one that you need at the moment, using the same patch. But let's listen to the strings. There we go. Okay, I believe I started with just this violin and then started making it sound bigger with legato strings and sustain strings. Okay, very good. And the last thing, I think the main thing that I added there was the horns, which I love the way virtual instruments sound. They sound so close to the real thing, which is this part right here. Okay, and a harp and cymbals. Let's see. Right, not the harp. And a cymbal. Yeah. All those little details make a difference. So let's play it again. Okay, and that's the main, that's pretty much the instrumentation that you hear in this arrangement. Let me play a few different sections, and then maybe we'll jump into, this is already in audio format. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is, if you're not familiar with music production, when you're working with MIDI, you're working with the virtual instruments, and you're giving the instrument instructions of what you want it to play. You have to play the melodies and play the chords and play whatever you want using your keyboard. And then you have to detail everything. Pretty much you go in there and adjust the intensity of every note that you play, and then the controllers, so you can control like how loud or which articulation is supposed to play. So it's a lot of music programming. It's not music playing, I guess. So let me show you a few more sections of the song, and then maybe I'll show you a little bit of how those virtual instruments sound and how do you work with them. Let's see. Let's go to the verse 2. The second verse, you can hear the horn comes in. A lot more space than verse 1. The chorus, start building a little bit more. some variations. You hear the pizzicatos. Starts growing faster than before. I always believe that there should be not many things getting your attention, so with the vocals and instruments, kind of throwing the ball between each other to see which one comes to the front, to the spotlight for a moment. Feel here. Outro. Okay, come to the end. Okay, and of course, this is not mixed. If you're familiar with music production, you do the older arrangement and get everything, all the files ready, and they're sent to somebody to mix it. I do mix too. I like to be able to do everything myself. I'm not as good as people that specializes in doing that one thing, but in this case, I don't need to do a final mix because I'm sending these files to them to. I sent this file to Quintanillas 2019, 3 years ago. Yes. And then we're gonna, make adjustments and do the final mix to it. But yeah, I like to still have somewhat of a balanced sound while I'm working, because I do want it to sound good enough for me to motivate myself and also to kind of get a perspective of the way it's supposed to sound at the end. Okay, on this part, I would like to do just a quick run through of the way the virtual instruments sound and why I find them useful. I'll do a more in-depth video, I guess, in describing which specific instruments I'm using, but just to show you a little bit the way they sound. Let's start with the bass. Okay, the sound of an acoustic bass. Kind of like emulating a little bit the sound of the guitarrón. Okay, now we have, let's see, the MIDI violin. Now this one's made for like solo violin kind of thing, so it kind of like changes articulations on its own. Again, I'll give you a full description in another video. Violin, legato. Here I can control the dynamics with the controllers right here. And since this is a legato patch, it will play single notes and is designed to trigger transitions. So you play two notes, one after another one. It's supposed to trigger the sample that would work if you were in real life transitioning between those two notes. Sustains is similar, but this one actually allows you to play different polyphonic, different notes at the same time. Okay, again, dynamics are controlled. Okay. Show you a couple more. Celeste. Where's the Celeste? Let me see what I put her in this one. Let me find it right now. Oh, here. Let's play a little bit. Oh, it's doubling the pizzicato strings in another section. So let's see. Okay, cool. That was very mysterious. Forgot how I triggered this one. Let me go see the MIDI. Oh, you have to actually, there's different ways. And again, I'll do another video which I teach you how to do it. So you can hit only the notes on the scale. Okay, let's see. Cymbals, I'm using them for accents in different parts. They're all cymbal rolls here and there. Okay, and the horn, I like this one. Let's see. Now this one, if I have to press the sustain pedal too. Okay, now it's kind of tricky to play like this because there's a lot of latency. I mean, if I play a note, it takes a little bit for it to respond. When I'm tracking, I minimize what I'm doing. Right now it has a good amount of tracks. Sometimes it doesn't work. Plus the computer is screen recording, so it's kind of struggling. So I need to put that extra delay so the computer can process it. Trumpets. This one's very expressive too. One slider is controlling the dynamics. The other one, the amount of vibrato. I can assign the speed of the vibrato to another controller too. So on top of that, of course, there's a lot of articulations that work with the trumpet. The way you end your notes, the way you transition between notes. Let's jump at the beginning. I think these are the two first notes. There's some kind of glissando going on there, so I need to do a key switch to show that that's what you want. Then when you finish the notes also, right? Right, there's a lot of articulations that you need to, something you cannot play in real time. You could, if you really spend a lot of time, you could play it almost like a real instrument. But since I'm doing too many things, I usually focus mainly in the basics, make sure I play the right notes, and try to record also the dynamics and vibratos in it. And later on, I program and make sure the transitions between notes are the way they're supposed to. Okay, the strings a little complicated. There's a lot to it because, like I mentioned earlier in the video, you have to kind of like make individual tracks for each articulation sometimes. This is not a super elaborate string arrangement. It's working a lot more as a pad in a lot of sections. But little things like, for example, here in add strings, this trill. Right? that little trill. And for this one, I'm using, let me see, Symphobia, which is an old virtual instrument, but still, I like the sound of it. And I'm using the trills. In this case, it's a major second right here. This is a minor second, so you know, like, these are marcados probably, and then we have to switch to trills in this section. And oh, this one's the wrong, and I know, I think it's that one. Let me check real quick. Right, the articulation is right here. It's probably one note here below. There you go, so let me go back. There we go. So you need to be very careful with all the details. Play all the instruments when you're bouncing them to audio. Make sure everything is playing the way it's supposed to. Okay. Well, that's a quick overview of the work I did to bring this arrangement to life. I haven't heard the final product. Well, not while I'm making this video, but let's see how much of this ends up going into final product. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and you found some of the information useful. There's so much to talk about in regards to this song, but I want to focus this video on the production and arranging part of it, okay? If you like this kind of content, please make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for your support.